All right, everybody, welcome to the Thursday Q&A session for the Sponsored Showdown. These last weeks will be a little bit different than the first 8 for the simple fact that we have a lot of stuff that we're demonstrating. We've done some live campaign examples, had 3 of those. We have 3, 4, 5 more of those coming over the next weeks. But we also are talking a lot about just optimization, reporting, and tracking, and just the basics of, we covered how to optimize your search campaigns, how to optimize your placement campaigns, search term report mining. We covered this stuff in detail in Act 2. But in this session, it's really about implementation, Act 3. And so today, though, rather than just going straight into Q&A, I'm going to cover kind of the basic step-by-steps on setting up an advertising dashboard. This will be a separate recording in the back office when we post it today. And it just is kind of giving you a quick overview of how you create an advertising dashboard, why you create an advertising dashboard, and the kind of metrics that you want to track to get more insights into how your advertising spend is impacting your total business. I mean, that is the goal of advertising with Amazon. Most people talk about it as a standalone deal, but of course, the most important factor with Amazon advertising is being sure that you're leveraging it to grow total sales and overall, achieve your overall organic goals with Amazon as well as paid, right? I mean, everything from sales history to search rank to, everything, reviews. I mean, all of those things kind of roll into the ad strategy because every bit of the advertising spend that you invest will impact your total sales and business in pretty amazing ways. So we're going to cover the advertising dashboard. I'm going to walk you quickly through just how you do it. And then these screenshots that I'm sharing right now are also available in a PDF download that's going to be in your members area here during class. And it's a 28-step how to create an advertising dashboard download. And then with that, it explains all the metrics and the things I'm covering today live. And then we've also created a template for you guys, a blank advertising dashboard template. I know you guys have requested that in the last few weeks, templates wherever I can give them to you. I have to admit, after my class 1 fiasco, I've been living in fear of templates and sharing Excel docs or sheets, but I have passed through that and went ahead and created an advertising dashboard template. So you pretty much have 3 resources to get this one nailed down. You have your PDF guide that gives you the step-by-steps. You have the template, which is a Google Sheet that you can copy into your own drive. And then you also have this short class where I kind of summarize everything. And then we'll do Q&A. And of course, we'll do open Q&A following that. So this is the template that we've created for you guys. It's an advertising dashboard template. We do this month by month. It's a monthly advertising dashboard with daily sales updated. So with this one, it's set up for September and October. And then, of course, when November starts, you'll create a November dashboard and then a December dashboard. And I have to say, I wasn't really planning on the timing being as perfect as it is, but you guys are in the perfect place to do all of these things because we're headed into holiday. We're right at the beginning of Q4, and you guys have had a massive head start on everybody else for Q4, and I can't wait to see how your campaigns go for holiday. So with that in mind, this is going to be a blank template that is available to you in the members area in the resource section. With this, you'll create a copy of it. You won't work right into the template because obviously it's a template and everybody has this. So everybody in this class at least, and everybody in our agency. So what you're going to do is you're going to make a copy of this template and you're going to create it on, copy it onto your own drive and go ahead and name it accordingly. From there, you will go ahead and you'll set some dates, right? So you set the dates across the date rows. So say you're reporting for September, you would set a date for 9/26, 9/27, 9/28 across your date row so that you have all the dates in the month, all the days in the month ready to go to update your daily numbers. This is a daily dashboard. You don't need to put the numbers in every day. Definitely have an admin or whatever assistant you have do this data. If you're small business just starting out, do it yourself. Again, I've done a million dashboards in my day. Melissa's done them. Everyone on our team has done them. So if you're small and just starting out, just do it yourself. It's not going to take that much time. If you have a data admin or somebody that helps you with administrative stuff in your business, this is definitely something to hand to them. It's very straightforward. So, and you can hand them the PDF and the template and they can rock and roll. So when you come in and do this, you're going to set it up daily. And then I would suggest going in once a week and just going ahead and updating the daily numbers. And then another thing to really keep in mind with these numbers is that you want to give yourself that attribution window. So whenever we run a search term report or any other report in class, you guys have seen it says 7-day. What that essentially means is Amazon gives gives the system a 7-day attribution window for sales, which means someone can click on an ad, visit the product detail page, and they give them 7 days to make the purchase decision, which of course is based on Amazon's own internal data that it takes people 7 days to make that decision, which makes sense with shopping. So since you have a 7-day attribution window on Amazon, it only makes sense to pull your data about 5 days previous maximum, right? You could even go 7, but 5 is what we do here at the agency. So you'll go back to say 9/25. If it was, if the date was the 30th and you were pulling data, you would pull it through the 25th. You would give yourself a 5-day open window with no data because it just wouldn't be accurate to go right up to yesterday. And if you do a 5-day window, we find that's like the perfect balance between recent data and also accurate data. And once again, even though this is a daily dashboard, you can batch this and you can pull the numbers daily. You want the daily numbers as a review, but you're not ever with advertising. I want to clarify this. Here's what they look like. With advertising, just because you put these daily numbers in, you're not doing it because you can't change advertising day to day. We both know that, right? Like advertising, or we all know that. Advertising is something that is kind of a 30, 60, 90-day window. It's a lifetime. It's a long view project. It's a massive kind of undertaking, especially when you're using it the way we are here to scale and drive big growth in our business. So when we put those numbers together, the main thing that you want to be keeping in mind is this simple fact that you have a daily stat just so you can see trends. Daily is essential to view trends and kind of see what's going on trend-wise in your business. What's the average clicks? What's the average spend? What's the average sales, right? As you get those numbers, that's interesting. You need to look at those, but you're in no way trying to isolate a single day of performance and say, oh my gosh, what happened on this day? Because your data and your results are going to kind of, they're going to ebb and flow, especially doing the kind of aggressive maneuvers we do in our campaigns, like adding all the new search terms. Those take a while to scale. Putting things into single, those take some time to scale. You're pausing keywords, you're optimizing keywords, you're adjusting bids. So you're going to have a lot of ebb and flow within the performance numbers, but this dashboard is amazing for giving you an overall trend view where you can start looking at your quarterly totals, your monthly totals, and the days are just there to kind of give you kind of the ebb and flow of the campaign, just to give you something like a ballpark average. You definitely aren't going to try to isolate a single day and try to make sense of that day. You're just having those daily numbers so that you have a full picture of what's happening. And of course, anything totally out of the normal will also show up in this dashboard, which is very useful. So with that in mind, this is what a finished dashboard would look like. You'll end up having your numbers for your clicks and your average CPC, your spend, your orders, your sales, CPA. So you have 2 places you're going to pull this data, and I'll show you both. First place you're going to do it is going to be in the campaign manager. You're going to go into your campaign manager and you're going to go ahead and pull the data on a specific date range, right? We're coming back here. We're going to be updating these dates. So say I'm pulling the data for 9/24. I'm pulling those numbers. I'm going to go into the campaign manager. I'm going to pull my clicks, my average CPC, and my spend and my orders for advertising straight out of the campaign manager. Right? I'm going to set that certain date range and I'm going to set my columns. This is all in your PDF. All of these screenshots are in your PDF. I'm going to set my columns to kind of see the full metrics for performance that I need to get these numbers. And then I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste those straight in to my advertising dashboard. So from here, then I end up with my campaign manager numbers. These are my advertising numbers, right? The whole goal of this dashboard is to show you the impact that advertising is having on your total sales, how they relate, how they're coming together. So you're always trying to kind of measure the ad spend against total sales, not just advertising sales. That's your first key thing, is when you spend money on advertising, you don't want to just look at ad spend across ad sales. You want to be looking at ad spend across total sales and how those numbers relate, because that shows you how it's really driving the business. So from here, I have my ad numbers over here in column AA, line 17 through 21. These are going to be all my advertising numbers, my daily clicks, my average CPC, my spend, the total orders, and the total sales revenue from that spend, right? Then I kind of move in to creating a custom formula, which is CPA. We've studied that a lot in class. It's your cost per acquisition. This is how much we paid in advertising for each sale. Now, you guys have already figured out throughout class, especially on the search term mining session, what your total what your CPA is, right? Like, you know what CPA you have to hit. You know what your break-even CPA is. So again, having the CPA here in your advertising dashboard is a perfect place to come back and kind of check, temperature wise, if you're hitting your target CPAs, how your CPA on an ad spend level is looking against your break-even point. So this is why you have CPA. You include it here in the advertising dashboard, and you calculate that simply by taking your spend, your advertising spend, dividing it by your advertising orders, and that gives you an advertising CPA that you're going to use to kind of determine if you're hitting that break-even point that you know is so important. Next, you'll dive into your business reports. Very simple process here as well. You just dive straight into the business center. You go ahead down into your business reports by date, and you hit the detail page, sales and traffic. And then from there, you're going to grab some totals right here by date as well. If I'm updating the 25th, I'm going to set this to a specific one-day date range, and I'm going to pull the totals. So once I get my totals for that date range, I have it right on that day. Everything is here, total products, right? These are my total product sales. I go ahead and add those into the dashboard on my total lines. So now I have my total orders and my total sales out of the Business Center reports. Again, this is a pretty quick process. And if you do it weekly, it's going to be super easy for you. Definitely something that a data admin can do. Any assistant in your business can do this. It's just simple reporting. So whoever takes care of even your accounting can handle this. So total orders, total sales, those go in from your Business Center. And now we start to kind of see, okay, so we have all of our ad numbers and we have all of our business total sales numbers. So now we go in and we start to say, okay, what does this look like in relation, right? So with this in mind, what is the total profit, like gross profit? This is not any number you're going to use to take to the bank, but it's a number that's good to know. Like, if I'm subtracting my ad spend from my total sales, what does that look like? See, it gets a lot more interesting, right? You can definitely look at ad spend. What is ad spend against regular sales? But what about ad spend against total sales? Because that's a really interesting number when you're scaling. When you hit the kind of numbers I've shown you guys in this class, the numbers you're looking at now, these are real numbers. These weren't made up. When you're looking at these numbers, it gets very interesting to look at $4,000, $4,500 against $126,000 in sales. And in case anyone's missing this is a single day. Right? So that's an interesting number, and that's really powering some serious growth. So from there, I can see that, okay, when I'm looking at ad spend against my total sales, boy, I'm really only spending, $4,500, and I've generated $126,000 in revenue with growth. And again, it's not so much that when you're advertising, this is so key to take away. It's not so much that when you're advertising, you're just like getting more organic rank and building some sales history. Yes, that's so true. It's very true in the beginning. But when you start building the brand through advertising, you're acquiring new customers at scale. So you are acquiring new customers to your brand like lightning, and you're doing it at velocity. And when you start acquiring new customers on Amazon off these broader kind of, these shop type, clearly defined keywords. There's no brand preference like the stuff we went into this week. Someone comes and is searching for a serum and they choose you. Well, now they're going to keep buying your serum, and you're acquiring those customers off these main search phrases at scale on Amazon.com. And it makes this enormous impact on your business in terms of your customer acquisition strategy. In fact, advertising is the only customer acquisition strategy that you have full control over. Everything else is fantastic. You've got marketing, you've got SEO, you've got persuasive copy on your sales pages, you've got images. All these things are fantastic for your business. But if you're talking about acquiring new customers at scale in a predictable way, there's nothing more powerful than advertising. In fact, it's what every single company in America uses to accomplish that. And I know because I've been running big scale ad campaigns for 15 years. So without question, advertising has its pros and cons. Definitely we all know that. It's data-driven, some testing is involved, conversion has to be right, picking the keywords. We know it's kind of tricky. But at the end of the day, when it comes to acquiring new customers without a brand preference on Amazon, these are the keys to the kingdom. There's no other way to do it. So when you start to look at your total sales, it's not just total sales, it's about brand growth, and it's about just the revenue that you get out of Amazon because you've acquired so many new customers and so much brand visibility over the years with advertising. So then you start to kind of come in here, and the new numbers that we calculate are our total CPA. So of course we want to look at ad spend across our total sales, because then it looks very small and incremental based on what we're doing. Then we come and we look at our total CPA. So even though we're spending like $6.23, which is like the normal, you guys have been looking at search term reports, which is pretty standard to acquire a new customer on Amazon. We're paying about $6 to do that, $6.50, $7. But then we come in here to total sales, and we're actually paying like less than $1 per unit to sell these items, with our advertising investment. So the advertising investment is like a banner, which it literally is, for our brand on the first page of search under targeted keywords when a shopper comes without brand preference. Right? Because at some point they're all going to have brand preference, right? I mean, Amazon's in a growth phase. There's a lot of new customers. There's a lot of new Prime members. There's a lot of new shoppers. There's a lot of people over the past 2 years that have made this incredible transition of doing everything on Amazon, right? This has been a 5-year really thing, right? People are starting to go from, like we all do it, you and I included, we start to buy our toilet paper on Amazon, and we buy our dish soap on Amazon, and we buy our books on Amazon, and you know what I mean? Like everything is going in that cart. So the power of leveraging advertising and search is that you're saying on those keywords that define your product, you're saying to people, hey, here I am. If you're looking for this and you don't have a brand preference, please come by mine, because they don't have a preference or they would have put the brand in, I promise you. So this is a really wide open space in the period of Amazon development that I think with my clients, when I advise them in meetings, and clients that already do like the kind of numbers you're looking at now, I am still so aggressive on new customer acquisition. I do not let up. I do not let, even you guys would probably be sitting here with me across the table and you're looking at this ad spend. And of course you want to be frugal, and of course you want to do these things, but I'm like, you have to acquire the new customers that do not have a brand preference, and you need to do that at lightning speed, and you need to do it relentlessly for as many years as that opportunity is there for you. You do not want to take it lightly when someone doesn't have a brand preference and they're buying an item, and they're going to continue to buy that item, or they're going to talk about that item. You know what I mean? It's just so important. So with this, we start to look at where it really matters in the business. We start to say, okay, across all units sold, what did I pay for those billboard ads on the first page of search? On all units sold, what did I pay to hit my most important, expensive keywords? What did I pay per unit to do this? And it starts to look very interesting at scale. So if this was one takeaway from the whole class, from all 12 weeks, is that this is the win, right? The win is not in the ad game on Amazon. It is for some people. I see people, there's so many awesome PPC experts out there. I mean, we've all been doing this forever, right? Google started in the early 2000s, and so did all of us, right? So there's a lot of mavericks in the ad channel. Mavericks I work with every day. But I'm telling you, I see so many people with Amazon just talking about make it more profitable, lower your A costs. And it's like, that is not the game we're playing, at least not in this class, because you want to be at break even. You don't want to waste money. First rule to making money is not to lose it, but you want to be just spending up to the final penny to buy as many customers as you can at break even to really push this growth. So after you get everything into the dashboard, it shows you the last metric. I think we covered that, is my sponsored product percentage of total sales. We didn't cover that. So what that basically means, of all the units I sell on Amazon, what percentage of units are coming from my ads? How much am I doing? And that's an important metric. Let me tell you, I used to have that metric there just to kind of balance things out. And I would say as of Q4 2017, across all my accounts, that metric became incredibly important, because for all of you guys out there, obviously advertising, I'm up on my soapbox. I love it, right? But at the end, you have to do organic stuff on Amazon too. We know it's a balancing act. Your organic rank is what drives kind of the free clicks that those billboards accommodate, all that visibility, all those impressions I've shown you. We want the organic clicks that are free to kind of back off of those, right? To get the back end off of those. So when that is the case, the thing that you're looking at with sponsored product percentage of sales is sometimes that gets really high. And then it is, when you start to see the sponsored product percentage of total sales get too high, and there's not going to be any benchmark here, because it has to do with your product, your brand, and your organic rank. If you have strong organic rank like this product, you should get a percentage of your sales clicked to the organic listing. if your product is not on page one, this is not a straight percentage game, right? If you have no organic rank, you may be doing 50% in sponsored ads. What else would you do? You're not on page one, except for when you pay. So when you pay, you play and you sell. All the sales are taking place above the fold on page one. As you move past page one, there's like 10% of total sales in the world. There's nothing left, and it's being divided across a million brands, and it's some strange shopper that is so picky they go to 2 or 3 pages of search results. So that's probably a looky-loo with a lot of clicks. So really the game is played at search on the first page of search, because the way Amazon is structured, and same with Google too. So when you're looking at that game being played that way, if you're not on the first page organically, yes, your percentage of sales from ads will be huge, right? But if you are positioned organically, you want to kind of look at this and make sure that you're playing your organic cards as strong as you can, because that's a really key metric in terms of like trying to drive, organic sales, in relation to your sponsored sales. And then from here, you're going to summarize everything up into this total column. It's right at the front. Your total column is pretty much just a summary of everything for the month. And you're just going to kind of let that one go. And that's that. There's our advertising dashboard. Okay, so that was an easy one. I'm going to dive into today's Q&A. Go back to our showdown slide. And you guys have a PDF. I will go ahead and check Slack now, because someone on our team was posting that. So hold on a sec. Melissa, are you out there?